Slowly, slowly. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello, Craig. You got your Pinot decanted, smelling amazing. Karen and Joan. Hello. Hello, Emily and all the Russos. Kevin, how are you? The Dyers sipping in Pinot from Fiji. Good work. Love your work. I didn't even manage to send off my badly typed excellent let's go message. Oh, yes, I did. All right. I'm out of practice after 2 weeks off. Hello, Anne. Oh, I have a little tickly throat, so hopefully that's not going to be too annoying. But I'm feeling very zen. I nearly cut my finger off yesterday, though. I'm doing well. All right, guys. So I'm going to show you my duck first because it looks gorgeous. Unfortunately, I think the recipe that Jill gave us might have been missing some soy sauce or some salt. So if you have made Jill's recipe, you might want a little bit of it's a little painful one, Keely, but it's just a little bit of skin off the top of my finger. Just missed the cutting up the dog meat. Missed the meat, got the finger. Not very smart. But yes, the duck looks gorgeous. It's all nice and glossy and shiny, and I've sprinkled some salt over it, and I've got some plum sauce to go with it. But if you've got plum sauce or hoisin sauce or something like that to go with it, might just kind of give a little bit of extra bit of spice. But I reckon this 2018 Pinot Noir will also spice up the duck. No worries. So, oh dear. It's the haunted seat again. Hello, Peter and Karen. How are you going? Thank you for the photos. Dad's come in with a beer because I haven't been quick enough in getting started. Yes, hello, Polly. I'm talking to people on Drinks with Kate. Polly wants duck, and she's been given dog food, and she's not very impressed. So here we go. 2018 Pinot going into a decanter. And poor Jeremy just texted me. His wine fridge has just died on him at home, so he's not having a great afternoon either. And I'm thinking, Linda, you probably Pinot in decanter, Pinot glass here. Sorry, Dad, I ran out of time to get you wine glasses, but I know you know where they are. So there we go. I'm in the chair that makes me go sniffly at this time of year. It's really weird. And we've got, oh my God, the light's incredible. Hang on a sec. I'm going to turn you all around and show you what I'm looking at, because we've just been for a dog walk and the sun was shining and then it was raining and then the sun was shining again. So I don't know if you can see that the sky out there is orange and then the sky out there is bluey grey. It all looks very unworldly, unearthly. The hoisin's not working. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that, Craig. Peking duck. Maybe just have a little bit of duck with the wine, or just alternate wine and food rather than wine with food. Every now and again, a wine and food match doesn't work, even when I suggest them. I'm not infallible. And my big hot tip there is, if you don't think that the wine and the food are really bringing out the best in each other, then I always say, eat the food and then drink the wine, or drink the wine and then eat the food. Don't try and make them go together. Kind of keep them separate and have a glass of water and sip that in between times. It's not as good as having food and wine making each other taste and smell better with each other than on their own, but we can always work around it. So 2018 Pinot. She wants duck, Richard. Just put her dinner on the ground. If someone could, if you could help by keeping an eye on them, that would be really good. Sorry about that, guys. We're all out of practice with Drinks with Kate now. Everyone's too busy to help me. Polly, stop it. 2018 Pinot Noir. So you'll remember from this wine, if you remember when we drank it last, that when we went from the 2018 to the 2019, the 19 was much darker and heavier and more savoury. The 18 has this beautiful, thank you, Dad, well done. She's eating now. Hurrah. The 18 has this beautiful, was always really pretty, always had this lovely fragrance to it, and a lift and a red fruitedness. And with a little bit of age, when you're ready, Dad, there's the wine. With a bit of age, the wine has just, the fruit has softened out a little bit. It's still got that lovely raspberry red cherry character going on, but there's just a little bit of roasted beetroot coming through. There's a little bit of dried herbs. The herbs have kind of dried out. They're not fresh anymore, but that gives them a bit more aromatic. Dried rose petals as well. And there's some little mushroomy, earthy kind of characters. But the earthiness, I think, is mostly showing itself on the nose with that sort of roast beetroot kind of earthy, sweet, savoury kind of character. That quick little decant really helped to get it jumping out of the glass. On the palate, it's got this gorgeous juiciness to it still. Red cherry, lots of florals. Polly, shush, could someone please help me, like take her into the kitchen or something? Dad was supposed to be, but he's wandered off. Thanks, Pete. We've got a lunch on Sunday, some of you will know, and Peter and Jill are cooking in the kitchen. Dad's supposed to be looking after Polly, but he wandered off. So, and Tallulah's sitting here at my feet hoping that I might drop some duck as well. So, lovely juicy fruit. There's some little herbal notes coming through. It's really, I love it's got this kind of lift and crunchiness it's almost got that Campari note to it, even though it doesn't have any whole bunch. Really beautiful dried herbs, as I said before. But there's this unusual there's a note to it that I can't quite describe. So if anyone wants to help with the descriptions, it's almost like crushed dehydrated raspberries and cherries, something like that. So are other people eating Peking duck and agreeing with Craig that the hoisin's not working with the wine? I'm going to have a little bit of duck. My duck's in a big piece, but it's been cooked so it falls apart nicely. So nice little bit of duck. I've left some crunchy skin behind. I have a little bit of plum sauce, which I think has the sort of sweetness of hoisin, but maybe is a little more fruity. Keely, you're getting the herbaceous notes. I agree. So my duck's a little bit under salted, but the meatiness of it actually brings out more of that herbaceous note. It's like dried oregano and dried basil and a bit of thyme and a little bit of almost some curry leaves loans. Absolutely. I think there is a little bit of that exotic kind of aromatic to it. It's really lovely with the crunchy skin of the duck, which is kind of that Peking duck thing that I was kind of tuning in on. But you could be right that that taking it with the hoisin might take it a little bit too far down that sweet and savoury kind of character. You guys should see Polly and Richard. They're having a little standoff. Polly doesn't want to be restrained, but he's got her by the collar and he's force feeding her cashew nuts so that she'll behave herself. He's got her on a lead now. Thank you, Dad. Thanks, Jill. The duck by itself is on the money. I think that raspberry thing is making it really interesting. Yeah, freeze-dried raspberries, something like that. I totally agree, Craig. It's got that freeze-dried or powdered, almost, dehydrated and powdered raspberry, really concentrated. Keely, can't get duck in the bottle shops in Fiji. That's correct. Lucky you brought yours. Absolutely. We don't export to Fiji. it's a tricky market for us, and we don't have enough wine to sell the wine all around Australia and to all of the export markets that we'd like to. So well done for taking it to Fiji. How's the weather in Fiji? Is it lovely? I bet it's better than it is here. Certainly the weather up at Byron Bay last week was a little bit better than it is here. We had beautiful, balmy, warm air and just gorgeous sunshine all week. We were very lucky. As the wine opens up, more of that little bit of curry leaves coming up, but also, as well as the curry leaf and those herbaceous notes that I was talking about, I was starting to only 29 today. That sounds lovely. So you are getting quite a lot of, there's almost a tamarind paste kind of aromatic there as well. It's sort of sour, fruity. I think that's also what we're tapping into with that freeze-dried raspberry character. And as the wine opens up, as the air gets into it and works with it, then a little bit more sour cherries coming through as well. Lots of dried fruit character, but also a gorgeous juiciness. I do love this 2018 Pinot Noir, and it feels like just yesterday that we were all drinking it together as sort of our current release. So it freaks me out a little bit that we're up to the 2021 Pinot already. And it's probably not too early to tell you guys that we're getting towards the end of the 2021 Estate Pinot Noir as well. So we haven't even had time to finish missing the 2020, and the 21's kind of zoomed through. We're down to our last 4 pallets, I think, in storage. So it'll be on at Celador for another month or so, but then we'll be moving on to the 22. So it's, as I say, it's lovely to look back at an 18, and I think that before we had 2 weeks holiday, looking at the 17s and seeing how that vintage kind of showed itself and its savouriness and its kind of chunkiness, then you get to the 18s and they've got this beautiful floral red fruit character and those lovely herbal notes coming through. I do think it's a gorgeous wine, and I think maybe if you've got your duck and you're doing Peking duck and the hoisin sauce isn't working, maybe get a little bit of soy sauce and just drizzle that over the duck and get a little bit more sort of salty umami kind of flavors going on. Without hoisin was much better with the wine than with the hoisin. I love hoisin as well, and I think I could probably force myself to imagine that it was working with the wine had I Peking duck in my fingers. Was saying, oh my goodness, you're still drinking, you're still selling the 2018. What's gone wrong? And I was always really happy to be selling the 2018 back then because it had a little bit of bottle age compared to the 21s and 22s that people were selling coming out. Bok choy with soy and garlic would be delicious, Peter and Karen. I think that those kind of savoury notes to come through would be great. And saying it was delicious with the duck and rice. Good, excellent. Yeah, I ran out of time to make rice. I think that the rice would have brought a little bit more savouriness into the picture and would work really well with this dish. What was I saying? Oh yeah, selling the 2018 back in 21, 22, it was, a lot of people thought we were crazy that we hadn't sort of just moved on and dumped the 18 somewhere for super cheap during the lockdowns. But I was really pleased to be selling it, and I'm delighted to have a little bit of it that we found for the drinks with Kate. I think you may not have fed the hamsters. You are freezing, or is it our hamsters? Oh no, I hope maybe it's your hamsters, Craig. Is everybody else, am I freezing for everyone or just for the Goodman family? Hello, has everyone got me? Let me know. Let me know if I'm freezing. Let me know if I'm not. We have had some power issues this week, so that might be getting in the way of the internet working properly. Oh no, we've got a spinning wheel, Pete. Are you having a look? Yeah. If you're out there, if you can hear me, Pete's having a look. He said it's working. Freezing every now and then. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it might be partly the weather. I think it might be partly because for internet we are remote rural Victoria. We're relying on a tower down in the cricket field a few kilometres away, 3 or 4 kilometres away. So with this wind and rain and hail and stuff, then the signal might be being mucked up a little bit. Pete's sitting on the table next to me having a look. I'm not getting weird feedback yet, but he said it seems to be working here all right. So maybe you just all need to come a bit closer. Keely, you're okay. Good, excellent. Maybe we'll keep this a little bit. If it continues to be problematic, we'll keep it a little bit short tonight because I'm still feeling a little spaced out from my week of yoga. But the vines in this weather, Craig wants to know how the vines are looking in this weather. You got Starlink, did you, Emily? It works much better. Yeah, I know. But I heard on the radio today that all the Starlink satellites are ruining the sky for anybody who wants to look at stars, which makes me a little sad. But, all in the name of progress, right? Hi, Paul. Do you think you need some duck, do you? If I give you some duck now, will you leave me alone? Probably not. There we go. Gave Polly some duck. Say hi to Polly, everyone. There she is, little hungry face. Yeah? Good girl. You've been on television. You've had some duck. Now go and talk to Richard about, Tallulah's eating your food, Paul. Quick, go eat your food. Go on. Tallulah's eating it. Peter and Karen, did you? Yes, I will get back to the vines, Craig, I promise. Did anyone see the moon last night? It was pretty magnificent, wasn't it? We had a bit of a cloudy night, so it kind of peeped through the clouds a couple of times. But the light from the moon has been gorgeous for the last couple of nights down here. So Craig wants to know how the vines are looking in this weather. Well, as you know, I've been away and not paying any attention to the vines at all, but I did come back last Thursday late. So I have been back for a week, and the vines are looking a little unimpressed with the weather at the moment. They have pushed buds and leaves out, but they've kind of slowed down a little bit in the last couple of weeks, which means that Dad and Jeremy and Millie can get on top of the what are you doing at the moment? Debudding. Shoot thinning is what they're doing at the moment, which is a good thing to do when the shoots are very small and baby, because they're much easier just to knock off. As they get older and more established, it gets much harder to do shoots thinning. So while it's not very lovely out in the vineyard in this weather, particularly when the sleety rain comes through, which honestly, for those of you who are not on the Mornington Peninsula at the moment, or Melbourne, and Melbourne probably is just as cold as it is here. But for those of you interstate, it's bloody freezing here. It's ridiculous. It feels, you go out and the wind is from the south and it feels like it's going to snow. And in fact, I don't know, those of you who follow Jeff and Paramore Estate on social media will know that last weekend he actually physically had snow falling at his property on Saturday. It was absolutely appalling. So we are ready for spring now. The vines are ready for spring. They haven't flowered early, Keely, but what they've done is that the buds burst early because August was so warm, and we and the vines and all the plants, all the blossom trees, threw their blossom out, and now I think they're regretting it. Although my peach trees at home have set quite a good amount of fruit, so hopefully I might get some peaches this year, which I didn't last year. But yeah, this cold snap, the cold weather itself really, as I understand, and Dad, please shout out if I say anything wildly incorrect, but as I understand, the cold weather's not great for the vines, but they kind of handle it. They just slow down a little bit and kind of wait for the sun to come out again. But if we get heavy winds and driving rain that turns into hail, then we can get some significant hail damage with the young shoots and the young leaves, and that can at least set us back some time, which means that we need to have more good weather at the end of the ripening period to sort of catch up with the ripening. At the moment, it's not a huge disaster. It will be a disaster if it continues on, or if this bad weather comes back when we are expecting the vines to flower. And when is that, Dad? I always get that wrong. Flowering time is usually December? November. So we're halfway through September now. So we'd like to see this weather clearing up over the next week or so and getting a bit more sunny, warm, low wind spring weather. We don't get frosts at this time of year because we're maritime. So that's good. I don't know if you heard the news about Barossa and Riverina and hello Barry, how you going? Good to see you. Barossa's had terrible frosts in the last week and lost a lot of leaf cover, a lot of buds. So that's going to be really difficult for them. The Riverlands also are saying that they've lost thousands of acres of vines to frosts, which is terrifying to think of thousands of acres of vines anyway. But you have to take the media reports with a little grain of salt, because the media kind of jumps onto these things and says, oh, it's going to be a disaster because of blah, blah. But yeah, we're really lucky that we don't have the problem of frosts here. We just have to contend with wind and rain and hail and sleet. So that's enough. Let's not have any more of that. The rain is actually quite good because the dam's not very full. It's been a very dry winter. So it would have been nice to have more rain over the winter period while the vines were asleep. A bit of rain sort of over the spring, we don't mind, as long as it's just sort of nice bits of rain and then a bit of sunshine. And if we could avoid the hail, that would be really lovely. Has it ever really snowed there? No, Craig, I've never seen snow here. There's been, in a couple of really cold winters, there's been a little bit of snow that's fallen and sort of stayed on the ground for half an hour or so around the southern part of the Mornington Peninsula, the Red Hill Main Ridge area, but not here at Moorooduc. I don't think we've ever seen snow here. We've had a couple of heavy frosts in the middle of winter when it's been cold, but that's not a problem because the vines are asleep and it doesn't bother them. So yeah, no snow here. Some of our neighbours get a little bit of snow every now and again, but Macedon, where Jeff is, gets snow on a semi-regular basis in winter. So that's kind of borne out in his vines sort of waking up and budding and growing and flowering and setting fruit. Macedon is more than a month behind us here, so it's pretty amazing. And Anne is telling us that her mum just said there was snow when she was a student at Toorak College in Mount Eliza. Do you remember what year that was? I certainly haven't seen snow here in my time here, but never say never. Weather is strange. The wine's changed again in the 1940s. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. No, I think it's a very rare thing to have happened. And yeah, it's snow, not such a problem, but it feels like it's going to snow at the moment. So it's pretty horrible. I'm going to shove some duck in my mouth. Excuse me for a moment. Speaking of snow, this has been a dreadful winter in Victoria generally. And that's been borne out by the pathetic ski season that we had. And I know that I feel really sorry for my sister and her family, because they booked 2 weeks at the snow, one at the beginning of the season, one at the end of August, so end of the season. And they didn't get any snow for either of them. So there was a little bit of snow in the middle of the season, but it was never great. really bad ski season. Hey, Keely, good time to go to Fiji. But yes, I think we're going to have to, if it's going to continue like this, we're going to have to really think about the mountains in Victoria and New South Wales, and whether they're really ski resorts anymore, or whether there may be places to go at other times of the year and go walking and hiking and mountain biking and all that kind of stuff. Because they're beautiful places to go, but very depressing if you're expecting to ski and there's no snow. And a lot of expensive infrastructure as well for all the ski lifts and stuff. Anyway, the wine is now for me looking more rose petally and a little bit musky with lots of air. And I think again, as I said, the savouriness of my duck, even if it's a bit undersalted, is working really well with the wine. The fat, the duck fat, and the duck skin, and the really kind of earthy savouriness of the meat of the duck leg is really kind of accentuating the tang of the raspberry and cherry fruit in this wine, and the herbal notes. It's my first time cooking duck. So, and I think, and when Mum looked at the recipe that she gave me, she said, "Oh, there's a couple of things missing." So apparently there was supposed to be soy sauce in the recipe, and she was a bit vague about how long it took to crisp it up. But hopefully, if you made the duck, you were in the recipe when you told me verbally. It was great. I'm glad it's delicious. Mum's saying it's delicious. She's very polite. Hopefully, your duck at home, if you used Jill's recipe, hopefully you have ended up with some delicious duck. So what else to say? We have a lunch coming up this Sunday, and I know there's quite a few of you coming to play this Sunday. We have 2 more wine dinners coming up in October and the beginning of December, 1st of December, for the Garden Vineyard. Garden Vineyard and Whole Bunch lunch, which will be our final lunch for the year. So that'll be fun. If you're into those Garden Vineyard wines, Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir, Whole Bunch, and Whole Bunch Shiraz, that'll be a really fun final lunch to come to. So yes, come on down. Craig is asking me, you saw a YouTube on Pro Wine? No, I have not been. It does look insane. I'd love to go, but unfortunately it's in March or April every year, which is when beginning of April, end of March, beginning of April, which is when we, oh, thanks, Pete. Pete's brought me some more wine. Bless him. Thank you. It's always nice to have that little extra pour to get the freshness of the fruit back again. And now I can smell mushroom again. It's really interesting. Provine sounds amazing. I think that those sort of events, I've been to Vinitaly, which is the Italian version of Provine, and you really need to go with someone who has appointments or get appointments yourself, because just wandering around trying to taste wine is very difficult to actually get to taste anything good. But yes, I would love to go to Provine. It's not going to happen because I'm always have to be here to make wine when it's on. So that's a bit of a shame. I've been to some other wine events. Vinexpo is the French version. Here you go, Paul. Vinexpo is the French version. I went there actually with a Chinese owner of a Yarra Valley winery as their on-board master of wine. That was quite fun. But I spent a lot of time hanging around the stand, shaking hands with other Chinese people who came to the event. So that was my value there for that. But I did get to go around and have a taste and have a look, and those things are quite fun. They're pretty intense. And as I say, you need to have some appointments or just be prepared to sort of wander around and not worry too much if you don't get to taste anything too exciting. Keely, you're drinking this Pinot with fish burger. How delicious. I think that these wines actually work pretty well with things like a fish burger. the thing I love this wine with barramundi. Just I can't hang on. Let me say that again. Barramundi. Dreadful. Can't speak today. Really good with barramundi because barramundi's got that earthy, slightly muddy kind of character to it, and you get that earthiness in the wine, and they bring out it brings out the sort of the sweetness of the fish as well as the savouriness of it. And that same with the wine. The fish brings out the fruit of the wine as well as the savoury herbal notes in the wine. So a fish burger or any kind of fish is actually not a bad match to a Pinot Noir like this, a red-fruited, lighter, floral Pinot Noir. I also think that we get a little bit hung up on what you can and can't match to wine. And if you like to drink Pinot Noir with something that people say doesn't go with Pinot Noir, but it works for you, then absolutely do it. I think rules are made to be broken. So that's all good. I think this wine would also be excellent with just a really good steak and chips, a little bit of béarnaise sauce or a little mushroom sauce. I think an Aussie burger with beetroot would be awesome with that, Craig. I would leave the egg out because I find the egg really kind of taints the glass and taints the wine, and all you can taste is egg as a result. Sorry? Pete thinks maybe a pineapple ring in your Aussie burger. Does that make it a Hawaiian burger? If you're not offended by that kind of stuff, go crazy. But yeah, I think, a bit of sweet fruit, I really like this plum sauce, which is just a really simple, it's the PMWU cookbook plum sauce recipe, and it's just plums cooked with vinegar and sugar and a bit of, I think there's a bit of clove and a bit of cinnamon in there. It's a really lovely tangy salt and pepper. It's a really lovely tangy plummy sauce, and it works really well with the duck, and it works really well with the wine as well. So pretty yum. I would also serve it with a beetroot risotto, which I've sent you guys the beetroot risotto in the past, and you all thought it sounded like too much work to make, which is fair enough too. But the beetroot risotto, we might give that a crack again another day. Next week we are drinking the 2019 Estate Pinot Noir, so we're kind of just doing a little mini bracket of Estate Pinot Noirs from the last box to today to next week with the 2019 Pinot Noir. I will have a bit of a think about food and wine matching. If anyone has any requests or suggestions for a food match to go with the 2019 Pinot Noir, please feel free to email me, kate@moorooducestate.com.au. Before Monday, because that's when I'll be sending out the email. I reckon maybe an Aussie burger without an egg with beetroot, maybe with pineapple, could be a really good option with that, with the 2019 Pinot Noir. But I'll have a bit of a think. I think that'd be quite fun. Heavy duty mushy recipe. Okay, Craig, I shall go looking for a new exciting mushroom recipe. I was gonna, if I fall back on the mushrooms stuffed deep fried pancakes that we did a couple of years ago, maybe a mushroom burger. Well, anything in Fiji will taste good with the wine, I reckon. What, Pete? Sea mushrooms. What's a sea mushroom? Pete's saying he's making it up. I don't think he knows what they are. I think it's just it's a fantasy. Sea mushrooms sounds lovely. Seaweed. Oh dear, Richard's going into deep history, emerging from the ocean many millions of years ago. They just walked out and then they put their feet down in the ground. Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear. I think we've all gone a bit silly here at Moorooduc. We've been trying to write website text. We've been cooking for lunch on Sunday. Mario Brothers jump on the sea mushrooms. Is that what you're talking about, Peter? No, Craig, you've gone too far even for Peter now. Can you resend deep fried mushroom crepe recipe, please? Never made, would like to try. Absolutely, Peter and Karen. I will do that. that will be one of the options for next week, and I'll see if I can find a new one as well. But I will say that you have to make the pancakes. They're a bit fiddly because you make the pancakes, you make the mushroom filling, you fill the pancakes, roll them up, and then you have to crumb them and then you deep fry them. But you can make the pancakes and the filling and roll them up and leave them in the fridge for a few days. So you could do them over the weekend. So maybe I need to send them to you on Friday. Okay. It's a really good finger with my Band-Aid on it. Sorry. I will send the mushroom crepe recipe out. I might not get it to you before Monday, but I'll do my best. Okay, team, I'm going to love you and leave you. It's been gorgeous. I'm happy to be back. I have to say, I haven't told you about Byron Bay, but you don't need to know. All you need to know is that Jill did a headstand, I did a headstand and a handstand. We're both feeling purified and happy and joyous and slightly lower shoulders, slightly more relaxed necks. It was really fabulous. So Craig, I will send you a photo. I'll send you a photo of me doing a handstand. Mum's getting sick of me sending the photos of her doing a headstand, but yes, it's been delightful. I'll be back with the 2019 Pinot next week, and then we have another little break, or we go and have our final celebration for Jill's birthday. But lovely to see you all. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.